My new office is full of dogs, and I'm allergic. I am not op. This was originally posted on Ask a Manager here, and the update can be found here. July 29, 2015. The first contains Allison's response if you wish to read it. Thanks to your amazing advice, I was able to land a fantastic job with a big raise after years of stagnant dead-end work. My first day I walked into the office, and it was full of dogs. They have a dog-friendly office, which was never advertised or communicated during the hiring process. I'm allergic to dogs. Very allergic. Within 10 minutes of arriving at work, my eyes are red, itchy and watering. My nose stuffs up and I get a headache from my swollen sinuses. This is what happens when I'm on medication. If I skip the meds, I break out in hives, start to wheeze, and I run the risk of my throat swelling closed. I went to my doctor, who referred me to a specialist. I'm already on the strongest meds they give out, and they said as long as I expose myself to allergens, this will keep happening and might get worse over time. I tried to work with my company to fix this. They put me in the far corner away from the majority of the pooches, where I'm near a door I can prop open. They have a company that cleans bi-weekly, and they let me work from home 1 day a week. The nature of my job demands that I be in the office at least 4 days a week. I really have no wiggle room. Even working from home 1 day a week has been a stretch and caused some negative feelings on my team, even though they hear me sneezing every 20 minutes when I'm there. It's been 2 months, and while I love the work, love the company, and love my coworkers, I'm miserable. I've considered looking for a new job, but every job I've seen in my field has a dog-friendly office. I'm at a loss. Their dog-friendly office isn't ME-friendly. What can I do? Update. Right after I wrote to you, HR bought me a HEPA air purifier for my desk and announced that dogs had to be washed regularly to cut down on dander. I'm not sure how they plan to enforce it, but one woman who is very well liked announced that her dog had a skin condition that meant it couldn't be washed often. HR told her that the dog couldn't be in the office for medical reasons, and everyone blamed me. People made comments to each other as I walked by about how I discriminated against a dog with a medical condition, how much I must hate dogs, how selfish I am. After a week, one person came into my cubicle where everyone could hear and demanded to know why I worked here, when I clearly wasn't a cultural fit. I had been ignoring the comments and trying to take the high road. Was that the right move? Allison? Should I have confronted them right away? But this was too much. I told her that I was a good fit. I had a strong background in teapot design and a passion for optimizing teapot handles. I reminded her of the times I had helped her brew new tea flavors above and beyond my job. I said that regardless of anything else, I'm here to help produce the best teapots, and that I want us all to work as a team to achieve that. Within 10 minutes, HR sent me an invite to meet with them, and when I arrived there were all 3 of our HR people, including the director, as well as our company's lawyer. They wanted my statement on a workplace incident. They said that someone accused me of yelling at another employee. I hadn't raised my voice at all. I was actually proud of how I calmly said those words, and my voice didn't even shake. I told them about the comments and how I was starting to feel like this was a hostile work environment based on my medical condition. The HR representative said that my allergies weren't covered under ADA and that they wanted to help me work there because they like me, but that one person was not worth damaging a strong company culture. While this wasn't entirely moral, I heavily implied that I'd consulted 2 lawyers who disagreed with her ADA assessment and that firing me could lead to a lawsuit. I didn't talk to a lawyer. My comment was based off of the 2 lawyers who you quoted in your blog post. They decided to reevaluate the situation, and it was basically swept under the rug. I don't know if they spoke to some of the people who made comments, but those stopped within a day. I wish I could say it got better, but it didn't. The company then announced that we were going from cubicles to an open floor plan to promote communication between teams. They banned dogs since we were in a temporary workspace for 3 weeks as they ripped up the carpet and put in new desks. The day before we came back into the office, they sent around an email that said that dogs were no longer allowed due to 1. The open floor plan, no way to contain them, and 2. The new carpet. There had been so many accidents that the old carpet was smelly and gross, but that they had negotiated a discounted rate with the local doggy daycare. It's normally $33 per day, but they got the rate down to $22 per day. People were up in arms. If this was the Middle Ages, there would have been pitchforks. They didn't openly blame me and no explicit comments were made, so I thought it would be okay. I was wrong. Instead of outright comments, it became subtle things. I was no longer invited to standing meetings, and when I pointed that out, it was explained away as an oversight. I was excluded from new meetings about teapot design that I was integral to, and when I found out about them and asked, I was told that teapot handle design wasn't changing, but it did in the mock-ups. Someone else was doing my job. If I sat at a table at lunch, everyone at that table was suddenly not hungry and would leave. I would go home and cry. It was like being in high school. But when I brought it up to my boss, she explained that they were oversights or mistakes and that I was blowing things out of proportion. She seemed so sincere, and I felt like she was really trying to support me. I felt like I was blowing things out of proportion. One day I was in a bathroom stall, and I heard my boss and 2 other coworkers enter. They loudly talked about me, about how my boss was looking for a replacement for me, and how I would be gone soon anyway, and then they would petition for the dogs to come back. My boss then said, CEO didn't like the smell of the carpet after dogs had accidents, and there was that flea problem last year. So even when is gone, it won't happen. But she ruined a great situation, and I want her gone for that reason alone. And then they all laughed. Before any of you ask, it's illegal to record someone without their knowledge in my state. So I didn't pull out my cell phone, but I did note the names of the people. My close friend, and one of my only supporters, was also in the bathroom and agreed that if needed, she would testify on record about overhearing that conversation. I did mention in the comments that my mother was terminal, which is why I didn't feel I could move to another city with more job opportunities. Throughout the past few months, I've been searching, but I was having problems answering, "Why are you leaving your current job so soon?" Eventually, I told one hiring manager the truth, and he confided that he is also severely allergic to dogs and that it would never happen at his company, a small startup. He offered me the job the next day. It was a slight pay decrease, but included stock options and surprisingly better health benefits. I took it and started a week later. I was so upset about the whole situation that I called a meeting with the company lawyer, HR department, and my boss. I gave notice, saying I was leaving immediately with no transition period due to the hostile work environment. I reported what my boss had said and named the people who were also in the bathroom. When she tried to deny it, I told her I had a witness willing to corroborate everything, and she then claimed that I was taking her words out of context. At this point, HR and the lawyer asked her to leave the room. I told them that if there were any issue with my paycheck or backlash against me, including defamation, I would bring a lawsuit. We agreed to what they would say if they were contacted as a reference in the future. I got it in writing. They cut the check within minutes, and I left right away. I've only been at the new job a few weeks, but it's a great environment so far, and I have high hopes. There were many questions about why I didn't see the dogs when I was interviewing. My interviews took place in the front conference room directly off of reception. I was never anywhere near the cubicle farm to see any dogs. A few people also said that if it were their company, they would see it as unfair to lose the dog benefit. I hate to take those comments personally, but it had the ring of blame the victim. Maybe I'm bitter, but your right to have your dog lay next to you while you fiddle away at your computer does not trump my right to breathe. This wasn't just a discomfort. If I'd missed a dose of medication or grew more sensitive over time, which my doctor said was happening, I could have had a massive reaction that could have caused serious damage or death. I think many of the readers, and my coworkers, ignored that. Thank you to your readers who gave their support, to the 2 lawyers who gave me free legal opinions, and especially to you for doing the research and giving me the information I needed to get out of that bad situation. I don't know what would have happened in that first meeting with the lawyer and HR if I hadn't had that information. I'm still very angry about the whole situation, but I'm trying to let it go and move on. Reminder: I am not op. This was originally posted on Ask a Manager here, and the update can be found here. Why didn't the company just accurately reflect their culture in the interview? It would have avoided all of this mess. If your company has a culture of allowing dogs everywhere all the time, then in TJE very first interview the question, "Are you allergic or afraid of dogs?" should have been asked as a priority. Flea problem at work. Okay. I worked at a dog-friendly office many years ago. When we interviewed people, we explained that we had dogs in the office and it may not work for them if they had fears or allergies. It is mind-boggling to me how many people make light of potentially life-threatening allergies. Accidents on the rug and fleas sounds like they needed an excuse to ban dogs, and OOP gave them the perfect reason. I'm not even allergic to dogs and I would hate working there. Freaking fleas? And no one else saw an issue with that? Man, why can't people leave the teapot lady alone? She just wants to design teapot handles in peace and breathe. I really hope this new company treats her right. I got so angry reading this. Yes, dogs are nice, but the OOP could have died. How people can be so self-centered and mean never ceases to amaze me. Having carpet in a dog-friendly office sounds like the stupidest idea. Not only is it the accidents that sinks into it, but it holds fur and dander. And that bi-weekly cleaning crew needs to at least come weekly. I am not allergic but worked for a pet-friendly hotel, and the cliquey sales team all decided that they should bring their precious pooches to work and that everyone would be delighted to have them. The 4 major players' cubes were next to mine, and they decided to put up 2 baby gates closing in the 5 cubes so the puppies could roam. I don't hate dogs, but indifferent. That being said, I was the IT person who needed to carry desktops and printers in and out and step over gates and small dogs trying to trip me. Okay. Fine. I have long legs and chose sensible clothing. Versus sales team. So stepping over gates should have been easy. Except I was super pregnant with what ended up being an 11 pounds newborn. My center of balance was precarious. I had horrible hip pain. And tripping me while carrying a LaserJet printer. Those suckers can be heavy. Could have been disastrous. The dogs found me much more interesting than anything else in the office and constantly were in my cube, where I kept almost stepping on them, and moving my chair was scary, almost squishing them. I'd be on the phone working on company down issues with a dog yapping. Then one day I woke up, 39 weeks pregnant with ringworm. I had a convo with boss and said I wanted my cube excluded from doggy daycare and the gates were dangerous for me to be able to do my job. Either they needed to keep dogs in the owner's cubes or move me because penning up half the office for rec time with dogs wasn't okay. They didn't particularly care for me after that. Dogs are like babies. Nobody wants to put up with yours or think they are as cute as their parents do. They both really don't belong in a professional office imho. Sounds like a OH&S nightmare. Not just for someone with allergies, but with all the dogs messing on the carpet. That is not hygienic at all. You don't see vets, animal shelters etc. with carpet. I wonder if in Australia that WorkSafe inspectors would shut the place down. Then there is also council permits. So many dogs in one place. Noise, smell etc. would possibly need a permit of some kind. I love my mutt, but this is seriously ridiculous. I love the comments too. So in theory a severely allergic person could apply, get hired and then make the company not have pets around due to EOC. That doesn't seem like it should be right. Literally yes. That's how the ADA works. You not having a dog at work isn't an undue hardship for the employer. So yeah, that absolutely could be an accommodation. Wow. I wish I was as good at documentation and wielding info as Oop. I'm glad it worked out. But it sounds like it was truly horrible while it was going on. I read AAM religiously and it's wild how many people act like petulant children as adults. Like, big ol' yikes. I love dogs and would love to have mine at work. But if they are having accidents and are not on flea preventative, they have no business in the office. Totally unprofessional. As a dog owner, I will say this, the worst part about owning a dog is other dog owners. I own dogs. I love dogs. But this evolving dog culture of forcing people to deal with them in inappropriate environments is a cancer. Dog people that make their dog their entire personality are the worst.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.